Hi, I'm Corey, and I have too many tapes. Did you know that you're allowed to make a kid's show? Like, nobody's gonna stop you. You are legally permitted. It is your constitutional right to write a script, buy a camera, hire some actors, shoot your show, and then release it into the world for young minds to consume. Love for kids shows didn't start with slapdash CGI pregnant Elsa and Spider-Man videos on YouTube. It's a time-honored tradition that's been going on since TV began. As more and more kids were sat in front of this newfangled electric babysitter, companies knew two things for certain: that they could and should market to this demographic to catch them while they were young, turning them into loyal consumers for years to come. So, in the era of home video, dozens of companies started producing videos for kids, and Hearst Publications was eager to slap their brands on anything they could. Good Housekeeping had a line of educational videos, Popular Mechanics had a whole kids series, but Redbook, a now-defunct women's magazine, had the strangest series of them all. Today, I bring to you Redbook Learning Adventures, the Numberland Trail. Folks, this is about as far down as you can go. The lowest of low budget. I have reached the bottom of the barrel. I have scraped the bottom of said barrel and I have tasted its flavor. And, honestly, I love it. It's fantastic. The show is the most earnestly dopey thing I've ever seen. It's moronic, amateurish, and puerile, but for some reason I'm drawn to it, attracted to it. This show, God help me, it may be my aesthetic. What is it about Redbook Learning Adventures that draws me in? It may be the awful blue screening that they just kind of lean into. It could be Fluffy Duffy, the giant-headed bear with a penchant for cookies. It could be Danielle, the most intense child I have ever seen in my entire life, who has eyes that stare holes into solid titanium. But I think the thing that attracts me most about this show is how loose everything is. It's not even that it feels unrehearsed. The worst of the kids shows I watch have this kind of panicked, wiry energy to them. They're all overacting or underacting, or the energy level is being maintained exclusively by the adults who probably have some financial backing in the project. The Redbook Learning series, though, it has the energy of confident mediocrity. The sigh of relief when you all collectively realize that you're not changing the world here. You're on set to have fun, do things professionally, and make a paycheck. It's liberating. Intoxicating, even. It's the energy of a great B-movie, and I'm here for it. Also, it's entirely non-religious, so I get to take a break from being gently unsettled by the message of a thing. Hooray! I really need to start buying the ones that make noise. So, instead of breaking down this video beat by beat and trying to do the whole Mystery Science Theater 3000 YouTube reviewer shtick, I want to slow down and talk about everything I find delightful in this video. The series follows 3 children and a giant talking teddy bear who go on fantastical learning adventures on a flying featherbed spaceship that their grandpa/scientist friend created. Sweaty, but it's passable. In this adventure, the kids are going on a journey to learn about the numbers 1 through 10 on the Numberland Trail, on a planet or dimension where it's permanently the Wild West, like it's Star Trek or something. This show is basically a vehicle for slapdash song and dance numbers, and that's how we start here. The set for Grandpa's workshop gives me some strong Fraggle Rock vibes, which makes sense because the guy who did the production design for this show worked on Fraggle Rock. In fact, he's worked with the Muppets for years. I want to take a second to appreciate the entire vibe of Michael McCormick here. He plays both the grandpa and the cowboy, and everything he's doing is really working for me. He's affable, he's genuinely connecting with the kids, and he seems to be enjoying himself the whole way through. McCormick is a pretty seasoned Broadway actor who still works to this day, and while he's definitely slumming it in this series, he's giving his performance the 1000% schlock effort you'd expect from somebody who's used to hitting the back balconies in a sold-out run of 1776. Back to the songs. They're across-the-board bad, and mostly ways to shoehorn number-based lessons into the show, but they all have this delightfully surreal quality to them. This is the first of these bad kid videos I've watched where the performers are just going for it with their song performances. And a lot of that is because they hired, actual actors and actresses who could sing, rather than assuming that all kids can act at about the same level and you shouldn't pay too much for them. Of all the songs in this episode, 2 that really stand out are the opening song with some truly bizarre lyrics.
Hug your bear, hug your bunny, sing a song or walk your pet.
You can hug your baby brother if his diaper's not too wet.
Sweet sentiment ruined by urine. We've all been there. Wait, what?
And then if you still feel afraid,
scared doesn't feel so bad.
When you're feeling scared together, then scared doesn't feel so bad.
This show is delightful. And thrifty. Since everyone wears the same costumes in every episode, they reuse this song in all 3 of the videos produced in the Redbook Learning Series. Shrewd decision, Redbook Learning Series. With credits in this song, now you only need like 23 minutes of original content. The other song that stands out is performed by Danielle, my favorite. She is scary intense. She stares through your soul with her eyes, and her best friend is a bunny. She does not treat this bunny like the sort of best friend a normal child has. No, her bunny Murray is like someone she met in law school. She talks about him like he's her therapist.
I said to Murray, "This is the most exciting day of my life." Do you think Murray will be allergic to anything there? A horse? I love horses. So does Murray. Do you have a horse?
So, a horse is my best friend. Who's yours?
Murray. We've been best friends for years. Murray thinks that's pretty silly. Could you all be quiet, please? Murray is trying to tell me something.
Well, okay, little lady, what's he got to say?
The 8th cookie is hidden behind the wheel. This has been so exciting that Murray and I already forgot all the scary parts. Murray says if we get a horse, he'll take care of it.
Oh, he does.
I can't wait.
Anyway, the way she just locks in and stares at the camera while singing this song makes me feel like she's about to wish me into the cornfield. Ugh.
A cowboy's a fella who never stays home. A cowgirl's a traveling gal. But they never get lonely wherever they roam, 'cause a horse is a heck of a pal.
These days, she's still performing and still kind of wildly intense. She's in a group called the Pettits with her sister, and they do World War II throwback musical performances for Greatest Generation types. Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Company B and that kind of stuff. Lisa's not bad either. She's played by child actress Nicole Leach. She had a run on The Cosby Show, as well as Shining Time Station, The Babysitter's Club, and Clarissa Explains It All. She can sing pretty well, and she has that 90s kid energy that really anchors the whole production.
Put your hat on your head when you get out of bed, and you'll never need a comb. Put your head in your hat and leave it like that until you come back home.
Yeah! Well, that was good.
On a fascinating note, she would later go on to gain notoriety for staging a topless protest against Bill Cosby in 2018 during his retrial for, all of the awful Bill Cosby crimes. She had written the names of all of his accusers all over herself and kind of just rushed him. It was cool. She's cool. She goes by Nicole Rochelle now. She's in a French band. Seems like a neat person. Good on you, Nicole. Another thing I love? Running gags. Somebody put some care into making sure this thing had at least a couple of callbacks and recurring jokes. The Fraggle Henson Muppet vibes continue.
Your posse heading out west today? Bet your boots. Never bet my boots, Pilgrim. They'll be moseying along any time. Now, you take good care of them, you hear? You bet your specs I will. Never bet my specs, Sheriff. Over and out. You bet your bunny I do.
I never bet my bunny, Sheriff.
Now listen, Snack and Smedley is meaner than a hornet on a hot plate. Will you be my posse and cover me?
You bet you're bad, Sheriff.
Never bet my bad, son.
Watching this video, I've come to the conclusion that this episode was filmed in 3 days, max. They have exactly 2 sets. Only 5 people total in the cast. It's multi-camera. I bet they were able to do an entire season of this show in the time it takes to make a single episode of a weekly network drama, and that's deeply impressive to me. It almost feels like a grift. Like this is the thing the executives are watching while someone robs the Hearst mansion blind. This polished lack of polish is part of the charm of Redbook Learning Adventures. Duffy feels like he was purchased off the rack at a mascot supply store. They use so much black and white cowboy movie stock footage, and they're extremely aware that it doesn't make sense. They don't care. It's funny, and it's cheap. Their interdimensional spaceship is literally a thrift store mattress taped to an old door and a couple of ceiling lamps. When they fly, they're just on the cheapest blue screen they can find with a thick blue stroke around them, so you can't tell how bad a job they did compositing out the blue screen. The set here, it's cheap fake plants, a load of old sand, and some hand-painted signs. They're on the same piece of soundstage for each new location. I bet you this whole thing cost less than $5,000 to shoot. This thing must have been a profit machine. Look, there's cynicism and then there's... Is there a better word for hilariously earnest cynicism? Hucksterism, maybe? I can't help but admire it. They even run out of songs halfway through. You go into this thing thinking there's going to be 10 songs, one for each number. But once they get to 5, they realize it's too much to cram into 30 minutes, so they just sort of jump to the end by combining 5 through 8.
Found another cookie, now that makes 6. Guess we got a handle on Smedley's tricks.
But there's still some cookies missing, so Smedley, just you wait. We're gonna keep on looking till we find all 8.
This is killing me. Do we have to give Tilly back all her cookies? I mean, will there be a reward?
Son, virtue is its own reward.
Huh?
Rumbling tumbleweed! You'll get a reward when the job is done.
This whole thing has the feeling of a group project that didn't get worked on until the night before it was due. To wrap this thing up, we don't get any real resolution. The kids don't learn any big lesson, none of them have any conflicts really. I'm not even entirely sure the boy in the red shirt needed to be there. Sometimes they even frame him behind Duffy so it's like he doesn't exist. Eject him from the show. There. Saved you $100 right there. If your entire character is boy, you have no reason to be here. To be fair, there's a character whose entire character is cowboy, but he can stay. Admittedly, my standards are lax. My reasons opaque. Regardless, into the sea with you. You're out of the Numberland gang, Greg. Or is it... I've watched this thing 4 or 5 times, and at this point I had to look his name up. It's Alan. Now, where was I? Oh, right. The 10 Cowboy Commandments. Our big finale. From here, it's just goodbyes and the journey home. What are the 10 Cowboy Commandments, you ask? Well, just see for yourself.
Number 1, never eat your grub before you feed your horse.
Never.
Number 2, never take your boots off at a birthday party. Number 3, if you're going to walk 3 miles, use the bathroom first. Number 4, always take your hat off when a grown-up walks in.
Yep.
Number 5, don't track tumbleweed on the kitchen floor.
No.
Number 6, never sit on a cactus. Number 7, always brush your teeth and wash between your toes.
Always.
Yes. Number 8, don't put your saddlebags on another man's horse.
Never do that.
And number 9, always count your cows.
Yes.
And number 10, always count your
Cookies!
yeah!
Yay!
It has the cadence of comedy. It even has the delivery of comedy, but there are no jokes. At some point, maybe this contained jokes. It's comedy skim milk. What I do like, though, those on-screen numbers and the little stars. Love those. I give them 10 out of 10. And that about does it. They made exactly 3 of these learning adventures, and the world pretty promptly forgot about them. They were released in the fancy white clamshells and then pretty quickly got downgraded to the standard VHS sleeves, and then thrown into bargain bins, and then into thrift stores, and finally into my grubby little hands. They're not on IMDb. The only references to them online I can find are in ancient copies of Billboard magazine, and from this one guy who uploaded all 3 of them to YouTube in their entirety, so yeah, if you don't vividly remember this, you'd probably never heard of them before. And now you have, so you're welcome, I guess. Or I'm sorry. Either way, if you have a spare 30 minutes, give the Numberland Trail a look. It's wild, it doesn't ask a lot of you, and you'll come out of it with a deep and intimate knowledge of the numbers 1 through 10. I give it 5 out of 8 missing cookies. Thank you for watching Too Many Tapes. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when new episodes pop up. If you want to fund my worrying tape habit, you can contribute to my Patreon. The link is in the description. If you donate $10 a month, you can make it on the Numberland Trail, and your name gets to be big in the credits. And for $5 a month, you're obviously snacking Smedley, or missing a bunch of cookies, and you have access to fun features like getting to vote on new episodes. I can't say enough how much I appreciate your Patreon contributions. They help me make payments on my new editing computer, and each and every dollar I get from you goes to fund the show. Next time on Too Many Tapes, we... Wait, what's happening? But But people stopped caring about that movie years ago, and it's wildly off format. Well, I'm doing it anyway. See you next time on Too Many Tapes.
Could you all be quiet, please? Murray is trying to tell me something. Murray. 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 Murray.